Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're staggering down the snakes and up the ladders as Mr. Yo, playing as the red Incas, takes on Hera, playing as the blue Hindustanis. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings with Goat and with Scout, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now if you are a familiar person here, and have seen my videos before, you will know that I consider the Incas to be the counter civilization. If your opponent goes cavalry, you can rely on your Kamayuks, a ranged infantry unit that carries a very long spear and comes with a massive attack bonus against cavalry. If your opponent's going infantry, you can rely on the other unique unit of the Incas, the Slinger, a ranged unit, an archer unit that comes with a big attack bonus against infantry and can be upgraded to get a small +1 attack boost. Now to counter archers, Incas can rely on their skirmishers, which not only get all archery range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can also be upgraded to have no minimum range at all, which removes one of the big weaknesses of the skirmisher. Now, to make the Incan army even tankier on the field of battle, the Incas can upgrade their Kamayuks, their Slingers, and their Eagle Warriors to get an extra melee +1 and pierce +2 armor with the Fabric Shields upgrade. Now, to help you build and support your military-industrial complex, certain military units do cost less and less food as the game goes on, all the way up to 30% less food in Imperial. The Incas start the game, if you noticed, with a free llama under their town center, which may not sound like much, but it is an extra unit to explore the map with, or 100 extra food right in the immediate start of the game, if you so wish. Their buildings cost 15% less stone, their houses support 10 population space instead of the usual 5, and their villagers are harder to raid because starting in Castle Age, they benefit from infantry blacksmith upgrades, and BT dubs, the Incas get all infantry blacksmith upgrades. Now opposing our red Inca, we've got our Hindustani in blue Hera, playing as a civilization that pushes its players towards an army composition made out of gunpowder and camel units. To start with, all Hindustani gunpowder units come with extra armor, and their hand cannoneers can be upgraded to get extra range in what I consider to be one of the most deadly upgrades in the game. Now, Hindustani camels also come with a few cool features. First, they have an attack bonus against buildings, which addresses one of my main issues with camels, which is namely, they absolutely suck at destroying buildings. Second, camel units attack 20% faster. And third, the Hindustanis have access to the Imperial Camel Rider, a fairly strong, very tanky, super fast upgraded version of the already powerful heavy Camel Rider. Now, in order to defend their cannoneers and from pesky ranged units that might want to snipe them on the field of battle, the Hindustanis can actually turn also to a second unique unit, in this case, the Ghulam. This is an anti-archer infantry unit that moves quickly, has high pierce armor, and an attack bonus against archers. And by the way, their spears are so long that they can actually injure multiple units at once. Now, the Hindustanis, in order to support the quick production of their expensive units to grow their economy as fast and as strong as possible, their villagers do become progressively cheaper, all the way up to 20% cheaper in Imperial, and the entire Hindustani economy can be upgraded and enhanced to increase the speed of all gold income by 10%. I am referring to not only gold miners, but also relic gold generation, and less important in a 1v1, also trade units generate more gold per trip. These are the two civs, very powerful civilizations in the hands of two very powerful players, so powerful in fact that they are heading up to Feudal at the exact same time on the back of the exact same villager count, although take a look. Two militias being trained for Mr. Yo, the one big difference. Now, you might be thinking, haven't we seen these players match up before? Yes, we have. Oh, no. Mr. Yo's Eagle gets vipered here by Hera. We have seen these two titans of the game clash over and over again, swapping W's, swapping L's. I'm going to end that analogy here because the word swapping sounds a little gross there, but you guys know what I mean. They are no strangers to the conflict, to the brutality, to the absolute epicness that is Age of Empires 2. So always exciting to see them match up against each other. Their elos are just absolutely ridiculous. Hera being the first in the world to reach over 2,800. Mr. Yo, take a look at that. Not that far behind. You know what else is not that far behind? These three militias waddling over with their billy clubs, ready to cause a ruckus. Look at them moving in unison. Man, this looks to me like Miami Fashion Week here. Red trousers, brown jackets. Look at those adorable belts I think they're wearing. Cute little hats. But unlike the Miami Fashion Week, designed to look good and strut their stuff, these militias are very much designed to be annoying, cause a ruckus, and try to get a kill. Although, take a look at this. Hera already running away with villagers. By the way, while I was talking a bunch of nonsense, we ignored, skipped over the base review. Hera's base completely open to the front. Primary gold exposed to the front. Primary stone, okay, a little bit safer to the back. But no surprise, he's building a bit of a funnel situation here. This is a very open base for him. Mr. Yo suffering from the exact same fate, although I would say his wood lines seem a little bit closer. I mean, this is what, 3 tiles from the edge of the town center? This one is a little bit more, 6 or so. Eagle continuing to try to bust out of his contain. Man, eagles do not like to be contained. If you don't agree to that, go to nature, try to catch yourself an eagle, and come back and tell me once your arm, your face, and your body is covered in scratches if you have succeeded. That is reminding me of sorry, one last thing before we get into the resources of Mr. Yo. That whole analogy of the eagles and whatnot, the joke reminds me of that, unfortunately, his last movie, Chris Farley. I forget what it's called. I think it's the one with Matthew Perry. I mean, I know it's the one with Matthew Perry where Chris Farley plays an explorer out in the wilderness, in the frontier, and there's a scene where he climbs to get a couple of bald eagle eggs from a tree and just gets absolutely wrecked by an eagle. And then later on in the movie, the exact same thing happens, and it's Chris Farley at his peak, just absolute maelstrom of a human being. You never know if he's going to yell. You never know if he's going to cry. You never know if he's going to be happy or angry. He was just an entire ball of emotions, which, you know what? Freebasing and freeballing a whole bunch of cocaine for breakfast every morning will do that to a person. In any event, speaking of cocaine, these archers are huffing it over to Hera's base. Mr. Yo, unrelenting. What happened here? Did he catch a goat but then decide to return it to his enemy? Okay, Mr. Yo, in a rare show of largesse, decides to return a goat to Hera. Look at that. This is a level of respect that I like between these two players. Like I said, we've watched these guys battle it out all week. We've watched them battle that out for months and months on end. And I absolutely adore that. Good job there, Mr. Yo. Whether you win or lose, you are a winner in my books. In any event, his primary gold way off to the back. I like that location. Primary stone very exposed. We'll see if our Inca... Oh, I was going to say, we'll see if our Inca suffers any kind of loss because of the shitty location of his primary stone. Whereas Hera, very much aware that his gold is in a forward position, is already defending it with a few archers. Mr. Yo streaming forward with even more. Kill count 6-1, which is what happens. 7-1 right as I finish that sentence, which is what happens when you're the one putting on non-stop aggression. Perhaps a little bit too much aggression, I want to say. +1/+1 for his archers finishing up right now. Hera already has +1/+1. Villager counts identical. Army supplies identical. But where one player has 6 archers, 2 skirmishers, the other has 7 archers, 1 scout. I leave it up to you to decide which is the better army composition. In my opinion, pretty much identical. And an army composition like that leaves more to micro and to terrain than anything else, to be honest. And look at Mr. Yo, walling himself off to the side, walling himself off, creating a funnel here to the front. He knows Hera's circling. Actually, does he? No, he doesn't. That fog of war... Now he does. Skirmishers should be able to destroy this army of Hera's, while at the same time, though, Mr. Yo with the high ground here in the back, getting a few more kills, a few more notches on his belt. The kill count is now 8-4. Hera's got to be careful here. If he loses these 2 archers, there's one reinforcing skirmisher, which will shoo Mr. Yo away probably. but not before he does a little bit of annoying economic damage here. And by that, I don't mean actually killing the villager. I don't know if he will, but even if he doesn't, still a lot of annoying damage. First eco kill goes to Mr. Yo, who is slowly climbing his way up in the kill count 11-9 while Hera retreats. Okay, a good time to look at the bases while the players disengage. 2 archery ranges for our Inca, a blacksmith, so he's got the structures. What he doesn't have is the resources to go up to castle. Hera, for his part, archery range, blacksmith, so 1 military structure behind. Not that he gives, not that he cares, because look at this, already heading up to castle at the, the 17.5-minute mark of the game. Those cheaper Hindustani villagers, once he hits castle, they're going to be very cheap, 15% off. All villagers must go, and he has lured Mr. Yo into a trap, attacking the skirmisher. I don't know if that was accidental or intentional. Okay. Let's observe this desert battle. I don't know why I'm whispering. This game already happened. These guys can't hear me. Market going up for Mr. Yo. He needs 50 more food, and he should be good to go to castle, but he is going to be a full minute and 40 seconds behind his opponent. However, he will be a minute and 40 seconds behind his opponent off the back of 5 extra villagers. So we'll see how our Inca does for that minute and 40 seconds. His economy for sure will be much better, at least in the initial stages. We'll see if Hera decides to plop down town centers. We'll see if Hera decides to go for a castle, more villagers on stone. Hindustani is quite a versatile civilization in their own right. I mean, you could argue their infantry, their range, not exactly the best, but doesn't really have to be the best, you know, when you're playing against somebody with 28-12 elo. Civilization means a little bit. The rest is all in the hands of the players. Palm tree out in the middle. Again, I don't like the use of the word forest. You know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, as you guys can tell from my streams. I like to have everything exact and never be wrong. Sorry, I made myself laugh with how stupid I sound. In any event, second town center going up for Hera. Once he has the wood, no doubt we'll go up to another one. For now, still missing about 200 wood, getting forging, getting bodkin, getting his elite skirmisher upgrade all in line. At the same time moving forward, so that by the time these upgrades, sorry about the computer glitched out there for a second. By the time he has those upgrades finished, his army will be across the map. Mr. Yo, though, has hit castle, immediately going Eagle Warrior. Okay. I mean, does have the forging upgrade, does have that +1 attack on melee. Does see that his opponent is going heavy into skirmishers. Why the hell compete with that when you can counter them? And for now, oh, sorry guys, I think my microphone is glitching out now. Oh my goodness, what? I hope I don't have to restart the cast here. In any event, a third town center going up for our Hindustani. Our Mayans still at the one town center that he had from the original portion of the game. And take a look at how quickly he's falling behind on villagers. Our Hindustani is just producing so many. Oh, deking the Eagles, not an easy feat. Not an easy feat at all. Lion joins in, so we've got an archer running away from skirmishers. Skirmishers running away from a lion. Remember, these guys have 1 minimum range. They are not the Incan skirmishers that can be upgraded to have no range. This lion could potentially, in theory, kill these guys. We'll keep an eye on that lion. For now, Eagles poking and prodding away at these skirmishers, pushing Hera back. Hera has fully retracted into his original base, using the town center to get the lion kill as well. These Eagles now trying to bust in here. Didn't learn from their compatriot who was in here earlier. He's going to discover this town center. What he probably won't think about is there being another town center right there. He sees it with the... Did he? Did he see it with the Eagles? Or no? It looked like he saw it there for a second. Sometimes I get a little confused with the Capture Age overlay. Oh, look at this. Look at this, Mr. Yo. Hoanging it with a very forward siege workshop. Hera, though. Take a look. very defensive castle. He knows he's about to face eagles. Trying to bust their way in through the east, containing Hera's army here to the west. Now they definitely see this freaking town center, right? I'm assuming if he's right underneath it, he does actually see it. Siege Workshop, Mangonel coming out, more eagles streaming across the map, +1, +2. This is the moment Mr. Yo decides, you know what, I'm going to upgrade my economy because I'm on the back of 48 villagers, and now I see 3 town centers, and he's the Hindustani. He probably has double the villager count that I do, so not a bad time to get Wheelbarrow. Hera does not have that upgrade just yet, but he sees the castle as well, knows that he's got to run away. He can't mess around, because when you mess around with a Hindustani castle, you find out that there are Ghulams out. Not a unit we see that frequently anymore, to be honest. The Hindustani Civ on a whole, I read a Reddit thread recently, somebody lamenting that we no longer see the Hindustanis played that much. Take a look at their attack bonus against Eagles, +2. Not exactly champion level attack bonus, but like the owner says to Babe, his little pet pig at the end of the movie Babe, it'll do, it'll do. Especially if he starts getting out more and more Ghulams. Not a super duper expensive unit. Does cost a little bit less gold than an eagle, but a little bit more food. And remember, by the way, that these are Incan eagles. And now in Castle Age, they cost... Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think it's 25% less food, right? I think the discount goes 15, 20, 25, 30% less food as the game goes on. So 25 food at a quarter discount. I believe they are 19 food each, although somebody in the comments let me know if I'm right or wrong. I always, one thing I never try to figure out is the rounding in Age of Empires. Okay, surround, get 1 eagle, have to retreat. There is now a monk, and now the counter to infantry, the slinger. Take a look at this. +10 attack against infantry. What the hell are you supposed to do against that? Possibly go gunpowder? Oh, good attack ran out of the Mangonel. Got a few of the weaker eagles, soften up the few of the other ones. 26 army supply. Hera here at 11. Running around trying to make his opponent think that he is bigger than he actually is, while at the same time trying to micro this Mangonel. Mr. Yo stalling a little bit. Not really engaging. The Eagle Warrior is fantastic, but it's really that elite version that you want. Ghulams move in. 1 Mangonel down. 1 Ghulam converted. 2nd Mangonel down, and now Hera needs to retreat, needs to get the hell out of here. Beautiful snipe, and a castle right in Mr. Yo's face. Will this castle go up? Can he contest it? This town center is ungarrisoned. At the same time, Mr. Yo going for another town center. Finally, a third. I was going to say second, but then I noticed this one out on the map. A third town center for him. Villager count, though. Take a look at Hera. 89 to 59. 30 villagers ahead. What is that? Like, that is, almost 50%. Wow, I was struggling. I didn't think it was 50, but it's almost 50%. The combination of monks, eagles, and more importantly, slingers is keeping Hera's army very much at bay. But you know it's going to keep Mr. Yo's army at bay? A big, juicy 4,800 HP stone monstrosity known as the Castle in Age of Empires. Not a monstrosity aesthetically. I actually love this. Look at this. We got carpets on the lower levels, shields, a bunch of goods, some vases, probably with some pretty delicious wine in them. Roof needs a little bit of repair. Might want to call your handyman. Ghulam's running around. Look at that. Look at that game knowledge, that game sense that Hera has. Sees the town center, an entirely exposed town center, by the way. And even though Mr. Yo has the army supply lead, Hera's economy is kicking in. Now there is an absolute clock on Mr. Yo. There is an absolute timer on this game for him. He is going up to a 4th town center. He needs to either improve his economy in a major way. What are you guys? Are you guys moving in slow motion? You are not. You are just tethered to the monk. One of my pet peeves. Don't tether your slow units to your fast units. But now there's definitely a timer on Mr. Yo, who is getting sanctity for his monks. If he doesn't get his economy up and running in the next 5 minutes, he's gonna GG. If he doesn't get his military to do something spectacular in the next 15 minutes, he's gonna GG, I think. And even with the monks having extra HP here, I don't know that that's necessarily going to stop these Gulams from just swarming over them. No monk attack bonus at all. But iron casting going, I think I always say iron forging, because the first one's forging, and that's just sometimes how my brain works. You know? Oh, but he's nerfed. Oh my god, this was deleted. I thought for a second Hera accidentally deleted his castle. But look at this, Mr. Yo's entire infrastructure here has been cleared up. Army supply very similar now, but how do you contest these slingers? Army supply 137 for our Hindustani, 112. He is 25 army supply, or rather 25 population ahead of his opponent. Now about 20, almost all of it entirely, rather not all, almost all of it entirely in civilian population. And in come the Gulams. Like I said, 5 to 10 minutes is what Mr. Yo has, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong in the past. A few converted Gulams inserting themselves here. But remember, this one Gulam can do damage to 2 units at once if they line up. They are not lining up. In any event, 3 beats 2, especially if the 2 has absolute terrible HP. And look at this. This barracks is going to fall very quickly. But the slingers are here. And when the slingers are here, the Gulams have to GTFO. I love the animation, by the way. There's a few animations in this game that I think are super cool. The longbow with the arrows, the boyars with their massive axes, and the slingers, to name a few. Although if I was hard pressed, I would probably say I love all the animations in this game. Look at the Gulams, movement speed 1.26 to the 0.96 of the slingers. They can run circles around these guys. But Mr. Yo is quickly accumulating an army that Hera's going to have trouble dealing with. Unless, you know, Hera rushes up to Imperial, gets bloodlines, upgrades his cavalry to light cav. And then all of a sudden he's got a meat shield. And all of a sudden, not only a meat shield, but just an overwhelming army supply lead once he gets those 12 cavaliers light cav out. Because Mr. Yo has stopped all military production with the exception of 2 slingers. Whereas Hera is building 12 units at once. Getting a castle to lame this town center. Maybe better up on this hill to lame the gold as well, but if you destroy the town center, you pretty much lame that gold. Finds out about this castle. If he didn't already know, the slingers are moving forward. At the same time, Mr. Yo trying to penetrate the base to get rid of this Mangonel. Mangonel has exactly 1 kill. Okay, slingers coming out at the exact wrong spot, but you know what? Light cav are coming out at the wrong, or entering into the wrong spot here. Oh man, look at this, Hera. Taking stone right in Mr. Yo's face. Says, you know what? You're going to lay my stone at the northeast of my base. I'm just going to take your stone here. Good luck. Good luck with that. If you're attacking me here, it means you are not attacking me anywhere else. And now this super fast moving Hindustani army is on the prowl. Army supply now almost double for Hera. And that's what I was talking about, there being a timer on Mr. Yo, because when you're down 20 to 30 villagers, your opponent can just put the pedal to the metal, explode an army supply. And even though these are just light cav, once they get rid of these monks, I'm surprised he even managed to get a convert. Once he gets rid of these monks, it's open season on the slingers. And as we saw, they move at 50% slower than these light cav. 50, even more, 60% slower. But you know what's going to shred the light cav? Kamayuks. We are seeing it all out of our Inca. I love this. Take a look at the attack bonus against cavalry, by the way. 8 for the base model. Hera securing the center position with another castle. These slingers working away at his stone miners. Although now doesn't really need those stone miners because he's recaptured, reclaimed, reconquered the stone to the northeast of his base. What are you? You are a lumber camp. Mr. Yo is under siege. Both players in Imperial. Army supply 20 ahead for Hera. Villager count 20 ahead for Hera. In come the Kamayuks. Not the strongest unit in the world, but how many? Seven of them are going to do a pretty damn good job destroying that trebuchet. Oh no, now Hera's got caught out a little bit here. 8 kills already for the Kameyuks. We'll keep an eye out on them. Looks like they tried to bust through to destroy this treb. Looks like they got one treb and then died. 10 kills already for that southern band of Kameyuks that were just out of vision. Mr. Yo's going to lose control of these 2 relics. Bye automatic gold. And remember, our Hindustani can upgrade his entire economy so that the relic gold also is generating 10% faster. Elite Gulam, let's take a look at their eagle attack bonus. Just, I mean, there's no eagles on the map anymore, but 3 in production. Still just a 2. Interesting. So that eagle bonus, I guess, is static. And oh no! Oh no, a very ballsy farming community here out in the middle of nowhere for Mr. Yo gets caught out. That being said, Mr. Yo is only down 10 villagers now, but at the same time, army supply. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you went full on villagers, you did so at the cost of your military. If you went on full military, you do so at the cost of your villagers. Like a lot of things in life, Age of Empires is very much a game of economics, of how to spend your limited resources. And in a game where it's basically bifurcated into civilian and military, you can only choose one unless your income is so much, unless your resources are so high. And in this case, they are not for Mr. Yo. He's got a good amount of food, an okay amount of gold. And now the Gulams are going to absolutely shred this to pieces. A few slingers are not going to stop this wave. Yeah. What did I say, guys? 5 to 10 minute timer on Mr. Yo. And he just, by going full on civilian, I mean, look at it. I don't mind what he's doing. He tried to get the gold out here on the map. He tried to get food out here on the map. He tried to respond here with eagles. He tried to establish himself up here, but got pushed back. That late game Hindustani, apparently something that Mr. Yo was very fearful of, and so used the early game to basically put a lot of pressure on his opponent, to the point where, take a look, villager kill count is similar, if not identical, but Hera, using that 20 population advantage, has about 30 more kills. So the numbers add up. Hera just not taking the damage that Mr. Yo needed him to take. And even though Mr. Yo has, like I said, the counter unit, the Kameyuk countering the light cav, the slingers countering the all the infantry, in this case the Gulams. Unfortunately for Mr. Yo, what he didn't have is the economy. And so Hera absolutely ultimately steamrolls over him once he gets his affairs in order. Let's take a look. 6 stables here in the center. Light cab, by the way, take a look. Full upgrades on them. Infantry, full upgrades. No more ranged units for Hera. That phase of the game is over. That was like a lot of us had a goth or an emo phase. The archers for Hera were just a teenager phase. You know, now that he's a mature adult, no more need for ranged units, especially not when you've got 36 elite Gulams on the field. Take a look at their Pierce armor, by the way. They, like the Huskarls, they, like the Rattan Archer, are not afraid of castles because they have 8 frickin' Pierce armor and they move at a 1.32. So all the little arrows that are coming out of this castle, even with 7 villagers inside, are not going to deter. Hera just overwhelming his opponent on multiple fronts. Mr. Yo's base completely open for ransacking, loses his position to the northwest, loses his position to the northeast. And again, even though he does have the counter units, just he's being spread too thin. And for all of us that like to spread some margarine or butter on a slice of well-toasted bread, you know, if you have way too little on your knife, you're not going to be able to spread it all the way across the piece of toast that's in your hand. And that's exactly what happened here to Mr. Yo. He had 19 army supply. His opponent had 64. And while he did a good job catching up in villagers, it did come at the expense of army. He's not building trash units. Take a look at what he's building. Eagles, which cost 50 gold each. Remember, the Incan discount is for food only. So these guys still cost 50 gold each. The Slinger, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, also 40 gold, right? 40 gold. The Kameyuk also 40. No, that doesn't sound right. I think the Kameyuk's a little bit less. I want to say 35 gold. 30, yeah, 35 gold for, no. Someone in the comments let me know. I think the Kameyuka is about 35 gold, and the Monk, of course, 100 gold. These are all super duper gold intensive units. He's lost control of the gold pile here. Where are his other resources? Non-existent. Where is this villager doing behind this? Okay, she's gathering food. Does have a bit of gold here. Okay, 2,000 gold here, but completely exposed. Stone, completely exposed. Mr. Yo was at the stage of the game where he had to take risks. And risks sometimes lead to success, and sometimes they lead to this. An empty farming colony with one hilarious cactus that looks like, you know, those used car dealerships, those inflatable men. Like String Bean over here, just watching the vulture, seeing everything from his eagle eye view. And Hera just exploding. Mr. Yo not able to get the critical damage that he needed to disable this Hindustani economy, and using those cheaper villagers. Hera just goes up to 126 villagers. At one point, Mr. Yo had, what, 107? But that's way too little. And even though they both killed an equal amount of villagers because of that discount, Hera can invest a bit more food than Mr. Yo can, because Mr. Yo's villagers still cost 50 food, right? And right now, in Imperial, Hera's villagers, they cost 30 food. No, 40 food. Sorry, 20% off, 40 food. So 40 food to 50 food, believe me, the when you get into the 20, 30, 40 villager difference, that number adds up a lot and has a huge economic impact. Let's take a look at the stats. 37 eagles in the earlier part of the game, 73 gulams. Hera with his usual over 200 APM. Mr. Yo at the beginning of the game. Since then, it feels like a bit more of a relaxed game for him in terms of APM. Economy-wise, our Hindustani with more villagers, just take a look at this. Even though Mr. Yo had a few relics for a little while, he does only manage to get an extra 600 gold over his, 700 gold over his opponent. Hera with 2 extra castles worth of stone, 6,000 more food, and about 1,000 more wood. Just uses that powerful economic cheap villager. Man, it is on full display how well you can do if you optimize your economy as the Hindustanis. Now, did he need to go full meme build and go pure gulams? I don't know. I leave that to you to decide. He does end up winning the game, and I love the inclusion of the light cav, by the way. Fully upgraded light cav is just absolutely crazy. They can upgrade to hussars. Hindustanis do have hussars, but at this point, not really necessary, because the whole point of these guys is to destroy these slingers, and the slingers have 40 HP. So not too sure you really want to invest all those resources into upgrading to hussars, especially when you're raiding at the 12 o'clock, at the 11:30, at the 10, at the 9 o'clock position. Your gulams are about to enter the base here and ransack. We'll see if they go left or they go north. In any event, bad news bears for Mr. Yo, who is just being pulled apart, never got his economy up and running to the point where he had to, or where he wanted it to, in order to put up a massive army resistance. And even though he put on a lot of pressure in the early game, he surrounded Hera. It looked like Hera had, when he had sub 10 army supply, looked like he was really on the verge of just dying, of GGing so early on. But then the Miracle Castle went up, and since then Mr. Yo had to pivot elsewhere, pivoted here, and just wasn't able to get the critical damage. This town center down about 700 HP, but what the hell is 700 HP at the end of the day for a structure that's got 2,400 and a whole bunch of villagers around to repair it? Ultimately, Mr. Yo just couldn't get the critical damage. Hera getting his civilian population optimized, putting a clock on Mr. Yo. That clock ran out. The carriage has turned into a pumpkin. Mr. Yo taps out. Hera gets the big W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.